Dr. J.C. Cooley. That's right.
Stop it, Bella.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer.
Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. I'm your host, Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, we got another absolutely fantastic show coming your way today. You know, I got this guest on the show. I can only tell you that the guests, it's two of them really, remarkable, fantastic. I mean, just full of light, joy, happiness. And I tell you what a way to start a new year is to open up and have a guest or two guests that are going to bring a lot more joy and happiness to your world. First of all, you know, I cannot even start a show without bringing my executive producer on. How you doing, Dr. Michelle Cooley?
I'm doing fine, Dr. James J.C. Cooley Jr. Doing great. And we have two amazing guests on the show today.
You
And they
know,
kind of related to us.
I tell you what, I want to always start this off by letting everyone know that the new year, 2025, everybody is going to be blessed. I think that, Michelle, we started off this the new year with a bang, especially being put on additional platforms that's going to allow us to get the message out and also educate our viewers and listeners on a more regular basis. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that, wow, we got a vacation coming up real soon. And I mean, I think we're going to the Caribbean. Well, do you remember?
Yeah, we're going on a cruise, audience. Well-deserved vacation. But it's well-deserved to give flowers and honors to our past iconic guests from the year 2024, which what this show is all about.
It is, and I tell you what, and the guests that we got scheduled so far for 2025 is amazing. All of them are. And I tell you what, the executive producer, Dr. Michelle Cooley, will not have anybody on the show that's not amazing. So that's just how it is. Well, Michelle Cooley, can you please identify, first of all, I like to say whichever platform that you're watching us on, whether you're watching us on E36 Television, Transfer TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Rumble, or you're listening to us on the radio on AM 1170 The Answer, FM 96.1 The Answer. That's in California. Also AM 660, our newest, The Answer in Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome to the show. If you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching us on right now, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have. I promise you, we'll get you an answer. I cannot wait to get this show started. So, Dr. Cooley, can you please tell our viewers and our listeners the title of the show, purpose of the show, and introduce these two fantastic guests?
Well, yes. So the title of the show is Revisiting 2024 Iconic Moments with Our Guests. And this is part 2. We did part 1 last week. And we're going to reflect on the central themes and key takeaways from past guest interviews, why these moments are significant, and how past guest contributions remain relevant and how they inform current perspectives on solutions to new challenges. So, the guest today is Dr. James J.C. Cooley and myself.
I'd like to take this moment to say, Michelle,
Yes.
we did have a lot of incredible guests on in 2024. And also over the last few years, I think we have had over 800 guests on our shows. And 2024 was incredible because of a lot of things that were going on, the shape of the country. But we keep politics out of this. But most importantly, bringing great guests on where we can encourage people to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do.
Yes, and one of the guests we had was Teresa Diamond, and she talked about starting voting traditions. And the reason we're talking about that is, election was held over 2 months ago. People made their choice, which is great. But it's about, voting traditions, starting them as a family. And Teresa brought us different perspectives to it. She mentioned about, as a family unit, educating the family or telling them where to go to do the research themselves on the candidates. It's not just a presidential election. It's your Congress, it's a senator, it's your local elections. You also have to pay attention to. So it's not the quote unquote big elections that are happening? What about the smaller ones within the community? Hey, it could be electing, someone regarding the education system if you have children in your district. So it's always important to find out the information. And yes, people have their opinions, but you are an individual. Do the research yourself. And it's great that, people are, giving information on what they know, but also do a fact check. Social media is great, internet is great, but there are some sources you cannot believe. You have to investigate yourself on the specific candidates who are running for the specific offices that are up for grabs, up for election. And so when Teresa was talking about starting voting traditions, it includes the local elections, not just the bigger elections like the president of the United States or your governor, et cetera, et cetera. Voting traditions, educating, talking about how important it is. I mean, women were not allowed to vote for a long time, as well as minorities. So that was really important. So, James, what did you take away from Teresa Diamond guest appearance when she talked about starting voting traditions?
First of all, let's say elections. What you were saying was at the local level, at the state level, at the federal level. And Michelle, me and you was involved. I mean, I ran for city council mayor twice, and that's far as the local area. But being knowledgeable of the candidates that are running, that's going to best represent you. You have to do your own research, but most importantly, traditions, voting, getting out and vote. So a lot of people won't vote. They really don't understand that our forefathers and mothers put a lot of effort, sweat, tears, and died to give us an opportunity to vote. And now we don't understand that your vote counts. If you don't vote and if you don't do your research, well, you're just going away and vote. Now, Teresa Diamond, absolutely fantastic, wonderful, a young lady, broke it down and how it was with her and her family. It was a family tradition that her mom made sure that everybody was going to the voting booths. Didn't tell them how to vote, but you got to go out and you got to vote. You got to understand what you're voting for. You don't just vote for a candidate just because vote against them because you're mad that the other one don't know nothing about them. Otherwise, you find yourself in a terrible situation because elections count. So my takeaway from Teresa Diamond is she was spot on with everything that she was putting out as it relate to having an understanding that your vote means something, understanding where you can go and vote. And that, a lot of people, I don't know where to go. Stop being lazy. And that's what she was basically saying. Do your research, figure out the candidates, find out what the voting places are, and understand what you want to support. Because if you select the wrong candidate and they get in office, and you're like, no, well, that was on you. You didn't do your research. First of all, many people want to talk, Michelle, and they don't even vote. And then they want to complain about everything.
Oh, yes. They can't even talk to me because if you did not vote, I'm serious. I do not want to hear you complaining. It doesn't take much to register to vote. Think about it. Think about the research you do on a candidate. A majority, well, I would say majority. There's some people out there who do more research on a celebrity than the candidate that is representing their district. If you can do research and Google your celebrity and find out what's going on, you can do the same for your candidates in the state, federal, local elections. You can do that. And you know what?
Another thing, we're going to take a station break, but another thing is if you feel strongly about supporting your views and your thoughts, why don't you run? Run in your district, run in your city, run in your area. But you know what? We're going to take a station break, Michelle, but we're going to come back And what if, in case you missed it, we've revisited 2024, our chronic moments. And we had so many fantastic guests. And if you want to be part of this conversation, whichever platform you're watching us on, just go to the comment section. The question that you might have, I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
Doctor James JC Cooley. The James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, or hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? And everything that you do. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and what Dr. Michelle Cooley and I are doing, we are revisiting some of the absolutely fantastic guests that we had on the show in 2024. And I tell you, I believe that 2025 is going to be better. And we're starting off right now, as I showed you that commercial with Dr. Martin Luther King, and we were talking about voting rights. We were talking about in the last segments why many people don't vote. Dr. Martin Luther King made it possible for us to understand that voting rights, you have purpose and it matters. And so he sacrificed his life for us to be able to understand that in the future, in our generations to come, we have rights, we have voting rights, we have everything. We are equal. And so I just wanted to say that just to put a close to the last segment, that voting is so important. Understanding that you have purpose is so important, and understanding that we have to be role models for our generations to come. And I'm going to turn that back over to Dr. Michelle.
Thank you, James. So our next guest is Dr. Terry Spain. He's an entrepreneur. He's a military veteran. He's a CEO. He's a sports commentator. He is so much more. And we have had him. He's like an honorary guest on the show. So we have had him on multiple times. I can't count. Now, there was one topic that he talked about, which Dr. James Cooley, he's a subject matter expert on it, SME, and it was discussing transformational leadership, which is powerful. So you know what? I'm going to let the expert talk about it and what Dr. Terry Spain brought to the table when he discussed transformational leadership. So before I pass it over to Dr. Cooley, James, can you first tell the audience what is transformational leadership and what was Dr. Terry Spain highlighting during that conversation?
Transformational leadership is you were born with purpose. You have a lot of things already inside of you, but we yet to even sort what we have inside us to bring out and understand what God's purpose is for us, and also to share with others. Transformational leadership is from the inside out, not from the outside in. And that's what Dr. Terry Spain it was conveying is, hey, you already got it in you. You just have to understand you got greatness in you. You got all the things that you imagine that's inside you because God provided that to you. However, God is not going to push you in every day and say, hey, have you discovered who you are? Have you discovered my purpose for you? Because I already laid it out too. So transformation leadership and what's coming from that inside out. And Dr. Swain is an example of that. A young man, but already, in my opinion, is on his way to seeking the ultimate goal, wisdom. It's going to take a while because he is so young, but he understands. And first of all, what he was trying to say, Michelle, is that it's not all about the I, the me, or the my. It's about the we, the us, and the ours. And what God blessed us with is sharing our ideas, our thoughts with others to try and help them focus on the mindset that's going to bring joy and happiness to many that's following. One of the things that I talk about, Michelle, and based on Terry, I call him Terry, Dr. T, is that, if you can see it, you can do it. You, first of all, have to want to. You can't do unless you want to. A lot of people, they said they want to. They want to do this, but they are lazy. They're lazy. They're not going to seek inner self and transform the purpose out of them into a mindset that's going to let you grow, that's going to let you expand. So I believe that Dr. T. Spain uh, was very knowledgeable in sharing this because that's what's in his heart. If it's in your heart, whatever it is going to come out. I mean, if you got goodness in it, it's going to come. If you got badness or whatever's in your heart, you're going to you're going to say it one day or whatever. So he was saying transformation leadership is you can transform by what God had placed in you to help others and also help you develop others and help you develop you, because it's all about growing.
Definitely. And you are the subject matter expert in transformational leadership. Dr. Cooley, can you just remind the audience how are you, your qualifications in teaching transformational leadership, just so they know?
Concordia University, EDD, doctorate, doctorate in philosophy, doctor in entrepreneurology. That don't mean anything to me, Michelle, because you can have all of this, but if you're not living it, if you're not, the example of mentorship and understand what God's purpose is for you. You might not fully understand it, but just through trials and tribulations through life, that's how I believe that I have a better understanding than most. How that is because I lived it. I had to go through the trials and tribulations. I had to humble myself. I mean, 'cause God will humble you. Um, and you have to understand that sometimes you need to do the three things that I always talk about, Michelle. Look, listen, and learn before you quick to say the first thing that comes to your mind. So through transformation leadership, I believe that you learn all of these things over time, over time. So
Well, thank you for that. We've had so many, like I said, we had an amazing guest. We had Amy Scruggs on the show. She's a media executive, TV host, recording artist, and she was talking about how do you keep your declining loved one engaged and interested in life based on her story about one of her parents being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Wow, this is a very heartfelt and just a very, I wouldn't say it's interesting. It was just a very heartfelt conversation. And a lot of people are going through this. Alzheimer's, dementia, anything that slows your cognitive ability. It doesn't matter what age. Sometimes you can have Alzheimer's in your 50s or 40s. That's rare, but it does happen. And she was telling ways about, how she had to adjust to one of her father's new normal and find ways where they can still be engaged and enjoy this part of his life. And whether it's by song or playing a game, I mean, it was just very inspirational. Amy was talking about that. I personally have not gone through something like that with a parent or a family member, but there are people out there who are struggling to find it. First of all, it's a loss because their parent is not the same. They don't remember them, so it's not the same anymore. But also, it's an opportunity to find something new in that relationship to keep them engaged. What makes them happy? To singing a certain song make them happy, watching a show. And the point is about doing it together and finding your new normal. So James, I don't know if you experienced that with a friend, family, relative, someone with cognitive decline. But what are your thoughts on what Amy was talking about during that appearance?
first of all, Amy Scruggs is amazing. And if you country music in it, look her up. She got this amazing song. What if it all goes right? What if it all goes right? You wake up and whatever situation, circumstance. Amy, what she was talking about with her father, that she had to adjust her life. She loved her father, and to adjust certain things to ensure that he's taken care of, that she's going to do it personally, but she's also is sacrificing a lot of things that she do because she's not selfish. And she, in my opinion, sometimes we have to put our wants aside and focus on the needs and the needs of family and other things and people around your friends. That's what Amy in her appearance on the show, her focus was on the needs of her father, her family, to make sure that they are taken care of. Even though many times, Michelle, we have all these wants where we can be selfish. And like, oh, I don't care about that one. I'm just me. What I took from her appearance on the show, a wonderful young lady doing great things out there, is that, hey, sometimes we have to take a back seat of what we think we need, or which is not a need. to take care of others. And I wish, Michelle, that others would do that as well. That sometimes we just can't focus on ourselves. We have to focus on helping others. We have to focus on ensuring that, first of all, we're trustworthy, meaning that if we're going to walk the walk, you got to talk the talk. If you're going to mentor, you got to mentor. I mean, can be the example, not just make up things and pretend like you this. And so Amy's show was so important. We got to get her back on the show real soon, Michelle.
But I just want to make one comment before we head on to break, is that, anytime, it's not just cognitive decline. There are a number of illnesses that go on in a family. And yes, it affects the person who's going through it physically or mentally, but also affects the whole family. So it's two sides to it: the one that's happening to physically or mentally, and the one that is not happening to. So they have to find their new normal. And I guess the most important thing I want to say is it's always good to get help.
I wouldn't say I don't like the term new normal. I would like the term adjust to the current situation. Because a new normal, I mean, things are going to change periodically. But I believe that we have to adjust. And I believe that that's a lot of, not just Amy, but a lot of folks had to adjust with what's going on, especially when it comes to cognitive decline, to ensure that we support our loved ones the best as we can. We got to take a station break, Michelle. But we're going to come back and we're going to pick it up. And if you want to be part of the conversation, whichever platform that you're watching us on, all you have to do is just go to the comments. Ask any question that you might have, and I promise you, we'll get you an answer. It's your life, and we'll see you shortly after the break.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley, and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 9 p.m. right here on The Answer San Diego.
The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, can be heard every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer. Life is full of circles, cycles, phases, and stages. It's your choice to ignore or embrace them. Motivational speaker, author, military veteran, and founder of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, James Cooley and his guest will inspire and equip you to strive for your own greatness and overcome adversities. Listen to The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life, every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on The Answer.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
You are gonna grow, but there's things in this world that you gotta know. To be the best that you can be, you wanna grow real big into a strong tree. To be who you're created to be, the one who's gonna leave a legacy is you. But you got to have these 4 C's. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. Create, collaborate, then you commit with confidence. It's the 4 C's. Gotta have these, oh yeah. It's the 4 C's.
Dr. J.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I'm sitting here with my beautiful bride. And what we're doing is, you know, we're looking at some of the great shows that we had in 2024, and we already into 2025, and we already had some great shows, but we got so many more coming. But we'd be remiss not to mention some of the great shows that we have had in 2024 to help enlighten you, our viewers and our listeners, and some of the guests that are just truly amazing that inspired Michelle and I. And we want to continue to bring those type of guests to you to inspire you. Yeah, so if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is just whichever platform you're watching us on, go to the comment section, the question that you might have. I promise you we'll get you an answer. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dr. Cooley.
Thank you. And one of our favorite co-host for the 360-degree health series is Dr. Michael Mantell. He's a cognitive behavioral coach, an author, a speaker. Oh my gosh, he is so much more. And he's always bringing it to the show. And with his amazing guests that he brings on. One of the topics he was discussing is when it comes to adversity, no one is exempt. And isn't that true? I mean, it would be great if we can live life and no adversity or trials or tribulations happen to us. But that is unrealistic. No one is exempt. And he was talking about the tools you need when these trials, tribulations, and adversity come your way. And maybe not be self-destructive on how you handle them. So listening to this show and Dr. Mike talking about, when it comes to adversity, no one is exempt. What I took away from that was that it's all how you handle it, how you prioritize what needs to happen when these adversities come. Yes, there is the normal human reaction, crying, yelling, screaming, being angry, whatever. Yeah, it's good to get that out and not repress those. But it's also how you handle it. It's how you handle it. Some people don't, or they're not equipped, at least at the moment, to have the tools to handle adversity. But it's going to come not once, not twice. It's a part of life. And I think that's what Dr. Michael Mantell was stressing, like, this is a part of life. No, we do not like it. We want everything to be daisies, roses, flowers. We want everything to just be so beautiful. But that is not the life here on earth. So we have to figure out the tools in order to help us prepare. And I know a lot of people say, why me? Why me? What did I do? I'm a good person. It has nothing to do with you being a good person. You can do everything right. You could be kind. You can be sweet. But life happens. And that's the thing. That's one of the takeaways that I took, is that he wanted to stress that life happens. It's most times it's not something you did. It isn't. It's just that it happened, and how it's about how you're going to tackle it. Are you going to put yourself in a depression? Are you going to lash out? Are you going to physically or mentally harm yourself until there's none of you left? How are you going to handle it? That's the most important thing, is the how. And I'm going to turn it over to James about what your takeaway was from that show, that when it comes to adversity, no one is exempt.
First of all, I got to tell the world about Dr. Michael Mantell, incredible clinical psychologist. Been on every major talk show, Oprah, everybody, because of his understanding. And basically what I think Michelle is saying, and what one of the things that Dr. Mike always asks his patients or us, the audience, always step back and take a deep breath, relax a little bit, regardless of the situation or the circumstances. If you think about certain things before you react, if you allow the mind to meditate a little bit, the situation might look extremely bad at that time, but we have to always find some good in it. I believe that, and Dr. Michael Manti have been my guest co-host. Actually, every Tuesday for the last 2 years, he brings some of the world's top docs on our show, talking about from all different type of fields in the medical and fitness industry to talk about certain things. But one thing that I do get from Dr. Mike is hey, sit back, think about this, hesitate, don't hesitate with just coming out, but kind of meditate, get your thoughts right, make sure that your mindset is right. And we can all solve problems that are in our purview. And one thing to say, if you done did everything that you could possibly do in a situation or circumstances, don't worry about it. Don't stress out over something that you have no control over. Such incredible doctor. and I'm just so happy, Michelle, to call this man my friend.
Yes, he's amazing. He's an amazing individual, and he has taught us a lot. And I'll tell you, one of the guests that he brought on the show was Dr. Jonathan Fisher. He is an esteemed cardiologist, and he talked about the mind-heart connection when it comes to anxiety and it comes to stress. And what people don't realize, and this is the takeaway I took from the show. So he was talking about how stress and anxiety, how that affects your heart disease, heart attack, could be high blood pressure that can lead to heart attack. And it's interesting. We're segueing from Dr. Michael Mantell to Dr. Jonathan Fisher. Dr. Mantell's topic was when it comes to no one is exempt when it comes to adversity. And it's about how you handle it, because stress.
Well, let me say some. Dr. Mantell, stress is about the attitude.
Yes, it's about the attitude.
It's about the attitude. So no one is exempt. It's about the attitude on how you handle that.
Yes. So the attitude is kind of it's connected with your anxiety and your stress level. It's amazing how you could be the healthiest person in the world, but when it comes to stress and how you handle it, and anxiety, how you let it get to you, it can affect your heart. And Dr. Fisher was just talking about the connection, the parallels between that, between your heart, your condition of your heart, and anxiety and stress, and how you handle it. I mean, it's really just one of the things. It's really important to note that mind and the things you can do to lower your anxiety, to lower your stress, which you can include meditation, yoga, or whatever relaxes you. But your heart is a very important muscle, and anything that disrupts it, stress, anxiety, and you're not doing what is needed to take that down, it can affect you.
Dr. Jonathan Fisher is an absolutely fantastic cardiologist, one of the world's top docs. And the relationship, what I think Michelle is saying, is, he see a lot of patients, do a lot of operations, do a lot of heart surgery, do all that stuff. But patients, a lot of times, they pay attention to what he is saying about the mindset and that the stress levels. A lot of the patients probably wouldn't have to see him, in the operating room. But then many of us, we carry a burden, and which he also burden that we don't need to be carrying, because we can't control that. And so, Michelle, this absolutely fantastic doctor, got to get him back on as well. I know we got to take a station break. We got to take a station break. And if you want to be part of the conversation, all you have to do is just go to the platform that you're watching this on. And I promise you, we'll get you in there and say, it's your life. And we'll see you shortly after the break.
I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. The one that keeps us close when we're apart. Talking from the darkness of all that we've been through. It seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of need.
A stands for attitude, commitment, and enthusiasm. Let's talk about the A, attitude. A lot of times we are confronted with things or in situations, and we often react because we're not, for one thing, walking around with the right attitude where we get an opportunity to think. Attitude will make or break you. Most of the time, the first thing, depending on where you're at with your attitude, you want to react. You want to hit. You want to say something. You want to do the first thing that come to your mind. We all have this split second where we can think about it. Somebody bump into you or said something, we can think about it. I need to dream big, think big, and be big. Be big is not in statue. It's in heart and it's in mind. You don't always have to react when you're confronted with a negative situation. Let me talk about the C.
The last of the 4 C's that I want to talk about: create, collaborate, commit. When you commit to something, if I say, Brad, are you going to do that? What you going to say? Yes. Or if I say, Brad, you going to do that? Yeah. That's not total commitment, because when you commit, you got to commit with confidence. Confidence that you can do it. Confidence that you can grow this program. Confidence that we can save lives. Confidence that we can create opportunities to make our communities, make people's lives just coming back in the system, to make lives that are people that are in high school and in communities and juvenile and this. We got to educate them, because the main thing that we want to build out of all of this with opportunities, we utilize the 4 C's: create, collaborate, commit with what? Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Dr. James Cooley. It's the James Cooley Show. It's your life.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, this is extraordinary. I'm really enjoying this show, and I think Michelle and I probably need to do this a little bit more often, where just the guests are us, and we express from what we have learned with our guests, and talk about some of the things that I think are so important. Just like the title of the show today is Revisiting 2024. Absolutely fantastic guests that left an impression, I believe, on the world, and also to prepare for 2025, because these guests are going to, that we've got coming up, are going to leave an impression on the world. I didn't say just your city. I didn't say the United States. I said the world. The world. And so I'm so happy about this show today. I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Cooley.
Thank you. You know, one of the amazing guests we had was Ruth Ann Thorne. Wow, this woman is amazing. And she did a show called This is Indian Country. And she talked about, Ruth Ann is an entrepreneur. She's also a producer, and she has this docuseries called This is Indian Country. It tells a story about how the contributions of Native Americans, especially when it comes to art and so many things. She tells a story about, and she has an art museum in downtown San Diego in the Gas Lamp District. And there's so many artists' works that are on display, whether it's paintings, whether it's any specific artifacts. And Ruth Ann's goal, from what my takeaway was, it was that to show how important it was to show the world the contributions that her people, the Indigenous people, have provided to the world. And art is one of them. And she talks about the history of, the Indigenous people, when they came to this country, and she gave us a really good history lesson on it. So I am really, really proud to have had her on the show multiple times to talk about This is Indian Country. I mean, audience, if you are in the San Diego area, go to the Gas Lamp District and just take a look at, Ruth Ann Thorne's art gallery, which shows all the beautiful artwork that the Indigenous people have given to this culture, to this country. And I'm gonna let Dr. Cooley just talk about that a little, but I just thought of something really quick. Give me a minute, James. There's a lot of things historically that we are not aware of, and they may not be taught in schools. But when you have people like Ruth Ann Thorne that puts it out there and shows the world what her people have contributed to society, that is amazing. Just like us and our African-American history. But I'm gonna turn this over to you, James, to comment on This is Indian Country and really learning about the history of the Indigenous people and what we gave and what they gave to society.
Well, first of all, I want to bring this up. Ruth Ann Thorne, her show, This is Indian Country, which she's been working on for the last couple of years, just got picked up by all the major networks. This is Indian Country. And she interviewed, I think, over 20 different tribes across the United States of America, because over the years, the indigenous communities, especially the Indians, they have been forgotten about. People taken for granted and they're dying off. And she wanted to introduce the heritage of the different tribes all over the United States, and some of the things and a lot of things that they bring, especially her artwork. She has, I think, 2, maybe 3 galleries in San Diego right now. Just an incredible young lady that want the world to get a better understanding that all people, regardless of whether you black, white, Indian, pink, gold, purple, whatever, we all contribute to this society. And we help build this country. And many of us existed in this country prior to Americans are coming from England with the lands and all of that. And many of us over the last 5 centuries, maybe longer than that, have forgotten about that. And her, I don't know what to say, but just her ideas or thoughts to introduce the world back to the beginning of what we call, it wasn't the United States, that this was Indian country. and she don't want anyone to present. And she is doing so many great things. Her show just got picked up by a lot of major networks, and I think it starts next week. You can watch it on uh, Paramount Plus. You can watch it. Just look up Ann Thorne, Ruth Ann Thorne. This is Indian country, and I tell you, you are going to be in for a treat because you're going to learn a lot of things. You're going to learn about a lot of different tribes and tribal things and the contributions that we all make. I'm talking about to this great country. So, Michelle, we got to get her back on. Yeah, she just got picked up on a lot of major networks.
Oh, most definitely. And she's an amazing guest. You know, we're ending the ending of our show, but we want to end our show with a question. Are you present? And that was the title of Dr. Stacy Bullock's guest appearance on the show. Are you present? You can be physically someplace, but not mentally or emotionally there. So I know, James, you and Dr. Stacy were just so engrossed in your conversation. What did you take away? What are you present really means?
First of all, Dr. Stacy Bullock is incredible. I mean, one of the most talented individuals that I know. Evangelist, artist, writer, motivational speaker. I mean, everything. She wrote the book recently. This was, I think, her sixth book this year. Are you present? What I took away from this is just like what you said, Michelle. Many times we focus in on a lot of things, or we get caught up in ourselves, and we're just living, and we're just surviving because we're not present in the current situation or environment. Physically, you're present. Mentally, I don't know where yet. So, if you're not present in your surroundings and the situation, circumstances that you might be in, whether it's good, bad, you have to be in present. You have to be present to resolve that. And she gave away a lot of different tips. And I think she teaching classes on this, on how you can identify whether you're present or not. And some of the things that she recommend in her books, being present and also developing the right mindset. So, yes, Stacey been on the show so many times, and we certainly gonna have her back on. But Sherry, we down to the last minute of the show. Any closing remarks that you want our viewers and our listeners to take away from this great discussion that you and I have had?
Well, the closing remark I want to say is that we appreciate the guests taking time to come on the show, educate, motivate, and inspire the audience. And audience, if you want to be a guest on It's Your Life with Dr. James J.C. Cooley, just contact us. Just contact us and let us know. James, how can they contact us?
They can contact us. They can contact me directly, but you go through a serious process. But Michelle and our team is gonna. They can contact you. Can contact me, James Cooley 145 at gmail.com, and we will decide whether it's a good fit for to have you on the show. Michelle, thank you so much for putting together another absolutely fantastic show. My closing remark to our viewers and our listeners out there: always, always, always dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. We'll see you then.